At the beginning of a new school year, there can be a lot of orientations. There's student orientation, teacher orientation, parent orientation. Even for new jobs, there is often an employee orientation. I guess most of us, whether we are 6 or 66, have been to at least one orientation. Am I right? Yeah. This started me thinking about the start of a new year here at First Parish, especially at the start of this year, where we'll be trying a new way of gathering in multi-platform or hybrid ways. Perhaps we too might benefit from a bit of orientation. What might a First Parish Fall 2021 mid-pandemic orientation look like? Let's start with the who. The most important who is you. At its core, First Parish is the people. I encourage each of you to take advantage of the weekly community time online and in person to learn more about one another. You'll notice that used to be called coffee hour, but since there's no coffee, we're just going with the core of what that time is about. Community time, getting to know one another. What we plan to do is to host multi-platform services and spiritual and ethical exploration programs on Sundays. We plan to continue online offerings such as midweek check-in, as well as consider how we might safely gather in person in small groups for making music or holding meetings or all matter of fun and engaging activities for all ages. Stay tuned for more on that. Thus, where we'll be gathering is still a bit up in the air, except that what we know is that we will continue to provide this online access to services. The gift of access across distance and difficulty is one we plan to hold on to. I glanced at our online attendance, and I know there's several folks here that are away in Maine, and other times people from Colorado or Florida log in. Online access is a gift that we're going to keep. But when will we know what we can and cannot do safely in person? Well, there's no clear path forward amidst the shifting risk, as well as the absence of vaccinations for our young kids. Indeed, for 18 months now, we have been without a map or established trails to follow. Have you ever gone hiking in the woods and either lost the trail or even perhaps chosen to go off the trail? Anyone want to confess to being lost? Okay, yes, we do have hands. Well, several years ago, I took a seminar to learn on how to use a compass. It was a bigger compass than this, but you get the idea. What surprised me is that you do not simply pick a direction north. Actually, that's not north, that's west. You don't pick a direction west and start walking. Rather, you take a bearing. You say, okay, I want to head west at 55 degrees, which is about that telephone pole over there. So then you walk to the telephone pole and you pull out your compass again, checking where 55 degrees west will take you next. You find another tree or stone or landmark along that 55 degree line, and then you head to that tree or stone and start walking. Again and again, you stop and take your bearing. Look ahead for the next landmark and move again. When I think about this year, I imagine it might be something like this, where we move in small sections as we head together in a general direction while following a bearing. In a few moments, Kate will share more about this year's backpack blessing. We've chosen to give everyone a little compass. Our hope is that this compass will remind everyone that even if we're not sure where we're going, we know we are not alone in this journey, but supported by this community. You might say that we are explorers on an adventure through unknown territory. While this might sound inviting to some, I suspect others may be shaking their head and muttering, "I did not sign up for this adventure. I feel conscripted against my will." But here we are. And I wonder what shifts for us if we reimagine the uncertainty as an adventure of possibilities. Does it help to imagine yourself with tools like a compass and a community to hike along with you? Perhaps we are not certain about what we will encounter in the steps along the way. But in my mind, we do have a bearing of where we are headed. The bearing is the why of our First Parish orientation. Our bearing is in the direction of love. We head out seeking the way that will enable a just flourishing of life for all. A life of relative safety from the virus, yes, but also a life of economic and racial justice. A life that brings families and friends together. A life that feels full and meaningful. Knowing where one is headed, the bearing on the compass, can help us to find our way, even when there is no established trail. So may it be. Amen.